Well, I hope your Saturday is going a lot better than mine is. First of all, I want to mention that if anybody noticed that my Instagram was down at Andy's Randomness and somewhat the Facebook page was down, I do apologize for that. Somebody tried getting into my Facebook this morning. So I just want to apologize for that. That's been taken care of. My morning's just not been the best so far. I mean, first I find out I'm under a flash flood warning when it's just a bunch of hoopla where it's not even raining right now. So I don't know what the NWS was thinking, but hey, I'm hearing LaGuardia Airport traffic going by, whatever at this point. So, as I'm trying to get back in sync, I'm trying to head to Long Island today. I'm trying to enjoy the British Open. Guess what? I have to call out Channel 1 again! And why are we calling out Spectrum again today, you may be wondering? Well, guess what? Another mother was shot rolling down her baby carriage, this time in Far Rockaway. Far Rockaway! I mean, you really cannot make this stuff up, folks. You really can't. There's nothing on Channel 1's page about what happened. They're talking about the election, which, again, the election's not even until November. And you would think, in terms of politics, they would be focused on the congressional primaries coming up. Because, as you know, de Blasio's trying to get back into elected office. We don't know who's going to be representing most of Midtown and most of the Upper West and Upper East Side now in Congress. If it's going to be Nadler or Maloney, which Carolyn's actually leading over there. But they're talking about changes to the city council maps. So I don't know if James Gennaro is going to be representing me next year. That's going to be a problem now. So just a lot's going on right now. Yes, so now I got to look at this later on. Because now I'm very worried that, again, James Gennaro may not be representing me in the city council. So, anyhow, let's get into the communities. And you want to see what's on the Queen's page? This is so disgusting of Spectrum. Look at this. So let's get to the article, because I'm done. So here we go. Drive-by shooting. Yes. Right by a police precinct. So, the Acura, I'm going to have to figure out a way to crop the picture, because I don't want this Crime Stoppers thing there, so maybe I'll do it on my phone, because I have a way to do it on the phone. Here we go, so let's read this. So, this happened last night. So, here we go. This happened at 6:44 p.m. on July 15th in front of an apartment building at 15-02 Mott Avenue. Yes, I know exactly where this is. Right by the 101 precinct. So here we go. 28-year-old woman was walking along Mott Avenue with her 5-year-old child while pushing her 2-year-old child being in a stroller when the suspects rolled up in a black Acura MDX and one individual inside the SUV began firing shots. So, again, you think Channel 1 would be covering this? No, they're not. Authorities say the mother suffered gunshot wounds to her right arm and back. Neither children were injured. A second individual, a 44-year-old man nearby, was also struck in the left arm by one of the gunshots. The Acura MDX SUV fled the area eastbound along Mott Avenue before turning southbound on the Caffrey Avenue. Officers from the 101 precinct, of course, quickly responded. Both victims were taken to NYC Health Jamaica Hospital, where they were listed in stable condition. So we do have a... Okay, this is an epic fail. Saturday night. It's not even Saturday night. I'm recording this video right before 12 noon. Okay, so we do have a surveillance video. So you'd think Channel 1 would be showing this on their website, but no, they're only bringing it up on the air. So it just comes to show that the Channel 1's priorities really aren't as they seem. So they didn't even send a reporter, by the way. They just briefly did a report. Spectrum is so short-staffed. And then, guess what? More shootings. Yes, more shootings. 2 men gunned down in the Bronx and Staten Island. Yep. So here we go. The Melrose section of the Bronx. This happened right before midnight last night. East 162nd Street and Tower Avenue. Officers from the 44th Precinct, in responding to a shot spotter activation, found a 31-year-old man unconscious and unresponsive with a bullet wound to his torso. ShotSpotter is the NYPD network of street sensors designed to detect possible sounds of gunfire and invoke a rapid response. So, again, that explains why, when you hear fireworks in, let's say, Northeast Queens, it could be Fresh Meadows, Bayside, Douglaston, Little Neck, those areas, that's where the police don't come, because those are fireworks. Gunshots are way more different. Sadly, the victim was taken to Lincoln Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Of course, due to HIPAA, the police did not disclose the man's identity because they have to notify the family, of course. Earlier in Friday evening, 44-year-old man was gunned down in front of an apartment building at 55 Bonin Street in Fox Hills at about 10:22 p.m. So according to this, the 120th Precinct responded to a 911 call about shots fired. The victim with a gunshot wound to his left armpit. 28-year-old man who has been hit with a bullet in the right leg. The 44-year-old man was taken to Staten Island University Hospital North where he was pronounced dead. So, there you go. 2 homicides. 2 homicides last night. How could Channel 1 not cover this? How? Alright, so here's some decent news. A 28-year-old victim also involved in that shooting in Staten Island was also rushed to Richmond University Medical Center. Okay. So are there 2 different hospitals in Staten Island that I don't know about? Because I'm not really that much familiar with Staten Island outside of Arden Heights, where my cousins live. And then, of course, obviously I know where the ShopRite is because that's the closest one to my cousin's house, of course. So, of course, no arrests have been made. So, there you go. There you go. So, I'll pull this one up in just a second. So, I want to see if Laura Uli had anything about a shooting that happened in Queens Village. I heard something happened in Queens Village last night. So, this was correct. There was a shooting in Queens Village. Okay, let's read this. 205th Street and 109th Avenue. So, look at this. So, of course, Laura Uli did mention the shooting that, of course, happened in Far Rockaway. So, here we go. A male was shot. Of course, no mention from our news media. But, again, the fact that we had 2 homicides last night. Not one in the Bronx, but normally low-key, quiet Staten Island, okay? Doesn't that get you a little bit suspicious that there was a homicide in Staten Island last night? That's very alarming. You would think Channel 1 would cover that. You would think anybody in the media would cover it! I'm sorry, but again, Donald Trump was right. The media in this country is corrupt. I didn't see anything about it on Channel 7 last night. Alright, so there is some good news. Channel 2 did cover it. I did some research, so let's watch the CBS 2 report, because they only spent about 90 seconds on it, but at least they did bring a reporter down there, so let's watch what happened, because as I said, this is Staten Island, okay? Normally, a homicide rarely happens in Staten Island. So, let's watch the video, and I'll mute my mic for a second as we transition.
Police are investigating a shooting on Staten Island that left 1 man dead, another hurt. It happened overnight in the Park Hill section. CBS 2's Christina Fan joins us live from the scene with the latest. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Cindy. Details are still limited, but we do know that officers responded to this area late last night after getting a call about shots fired. When they arrived in front of 55 Bowen, which is about halfway down this block, they found two men suffering from gunshot wounds. You can see officers are still there where it looks like there was a small gathering last night. In this video, we can see a crowd of officers with their flashlights inspecting a fenced-off area near the sidewalk as concerned neighbors looked on. We've learned a 44-year-old man was hit in his left armpit, taken to Staten Island University Hospital, where he later died. Another 28-year-old was hit in the left leg. He was taken to Richmond University Medical Center and is now in stable condition. Overnight, police also had their chopper in the air as they searched for the shooters. That search continues this morning. We are still waiting to hear about a possible suspect description, but we do know that police are searching for at least two people who took off. Reporting live from the Park Hill section of Staten Island, Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
Christina, thank you.
So they did show some video that came from Loud Labs, New York, and if Adam was there last night, I gotta say, he did a good job being on the scene last night because, again, you know, as I was playing that video, I just sent this to my cousins in Staten Island because they're probably first finding out about this now. I'm sure they're disturbed. I would be disturbed too. Alright? Especially because, again, you know, I'm still shaking from what happened in Fresh Meadows back in April. I mean, as I said, the fact that, again, okay, we had, trying to go to this other story. We're going to get to the other stories right now because I have 3 more I have to read. And as I said, I'm trying to keep an eye on my time because I'm heading out to Long Island this afternoon. But, okay, here we go. Let's get to the other stories. First up, in the East Village. Slashing. So, this was published yesterday. So, according to police, at 6:09 p.m. on July 5th, a 19-year-old man was approached by a group of 5 unknown men in front of 120 St. Mark's Place. The group got into a verbal dispute, and one man pulled out an unknown sharp object and slashed the victim. The suspect fled eastbound on St. Mark's Place on foot. The rest of the group fled westbound. The victim, the male, was taken by private means to Mount Sinai Beth Israel in stable condition. So we do have surveillance pictures, and maybe this is why Eric Adams is not realizing how bad the odor problem is, because I noticed that all the channels, including Channel 1, was even bringing up the stink, you know. Maybe they should go over to that Chinese place on Horace Harding Expressway. I'm not going to say what street it is, because then their privacy is at risk, but there's a Chinese place on Horace Harding Expressway that I have to go to each time I get to Osnum when I have my windows down. And let's just say the stink is very bad. That's all I'm going to say. And then let's get to the Bronx. Oh, my bad. I thought this was the Bronx. So, I thought the headline said the Bronx. Okay, so this was Brooklyn and Manhattan. Okay, so here we go. Alright, so here we go. Critical injuries. 2 stabbings that happened yesterday. So yesterday morning at 9:57 a.m., a 911 call was sent out regarding a man stabbed at 510 Washington Avenue in Brooklyn. An 18-year-old teenager was stabbed in the abdomen and the arm. The incident took place near the Brown Memorial Baptist Church at Washington Avenue and Gates Avenue. The church was holding the funeral for 16-year-old Nashwin Campbell, who was killed near PS 246 in Brownville last month. Police say that the teenager was involved in a dispute prior to the stabbings. The teen was taken to New York Presbyterian Brooklyn Methodist Hospital in critical condition. So, yeah, I think this might have been near a church. Meanwhile, yep, okay, so we did talk about the Upper East Side one, and I don't want to get into that, but there is something else that happened on the Upper East Side So look at this. Hate crime. So here we go. And keep in mind, you have a lot of rich Jews who live in the Upper East Side. A lot of rich Jews who make a lot of money. So this guy decides to spew hate and propaganda on all of us. So where did this happen? Oh, I know exactly where this apartment building is. So here we go. This happened on June 23rd, Thursday, 10:17 a.m. 1 Sutton Place, 420 East 61st Street. Yep, right by the Queensboro Bridge. According to law enforcement sources, the suspect walked to the rear location and drew 3 swastikas in yellow ink on the sidewalk. So, of course, the incident was taken to the 1-9 precinct, which was referred the matter to the Hate Crimes Task Force. So, get a good look at this guy because he needs to be caught. So again, here we are with Channel 1's bias. Here we go again. Just showing the proof that this TV station is so selfish. They don't care about our news that we need to know about. And, I really wish that they could be regulated by the FCC. Because I may be heading over to Channel 1 Studios maybe next month. Because this is just unacceptable behavior. Alright, they need to start covering the news that matters to all of us. Alright, enough focusing on the politics, enough focusing on your own selfish needs spectrum. I'm calling you out. And Pat Kiernan, he can blab all he wants about the newspapers that he reads in the morning, but I'm gonna keep calling them out until they clean up their act. So that's it.